15 minutes.
Hi, I'm Vicky, I'm an addict.
Hi, Vicky.
This is really scary. And I've never spoken to a microphone before, so yeah, it's just so weird. I can't believe I'm doing this. Yeah, thanks Charlie for asking me to do this, and I instantly said no, I can't possibly do that. And then my sponsor was round at my flat at the time, and I looked at her and I said, I really think I should do it. And she said, just say yes, you'll be fine. But I find this excruciating. It's really, really... Sorry, I shouldn't look at Gary because my mouth is away from the microphone. Anyway, stop waffling. So I've been coming to NA for quite a long time. Gosh, it's really awkward. My first introduction to NA was when I was about 19 years old, and I'm now 39, so it's over 20 years ago. And I've been using drugs for, about 8 or 9 years at that point. And I started off, with a bit of dope and a bit of alcohol, like most people. And I grew up in a pub, so there was a lot of alcohol around. How to do this? And my sister was rolling joints, and I'd have a puff. I never liked dope. I really didn't like it, but I did it. I'm not sure why I did it either. I didn't really think about it, but I just wanted to do something else from what I was doing or how I was feeling. And I progressed very, very quickly. By the time I was 14, 15, I was using Class A drugs on a lot of the time. I wasn't really going to school. I stopped going to school when I was 14. And by the time I was 18, I was sitting in an NA meeting, which is incredibly, it's incredibly sad. But it's just the way I was heading, and thank God I did. I first picked up heroin at 16, which was my drug of choice. It became my drug of choice. And I stole it. I had to steal it because I couldn't get anyone to give it to me. And I'd done freebase. I'd done a lot of freebasing. So I knew the kind of... I'm even doing it with my hand. I knew what you were meant to do, but I wasn't prepared for how it was going to feel in my throat or the effect that smoking heroin for the first time would do for me. And I did pretty much everything that you can do to get money for drugs. I don't come up here very often. I don't come to the part of London very often, and I kind of forget, and it starts to get darker, and it takes on a different sort of vibe being up in the West End. And I remember I was 19, and I was working in bars around here, like hostess bars, at 19 years old, and getting loads and loads of money, a lot of money for a 19-year-old girl without doing a proper job. And I take it home, and I call the dealer, and I had smack, I had my own drugs. I had heroin, which is what I wanted, and I had money, and I had cigarettes, and it was great, and I could take taxis. It didn't last for long, but, I just thought that was it. That was it. I'd arrived. That's all I wanted. Which, again, is really sad. So I went into rehab at 19, and really for the next good while, I was in and out. Rehabs, detoxes, mental hospitals for detoxes, all different types of, ways you're supposed to clean up. I went to meetings, I didn't go to meetings, I tried drinking, not drinking. Boyfriend, that was always one that I thought would sort me out. Get a new bloke, everything's going to be fine. Get one who's using, who's got money, even better. And nothing worked. And I can't say what happened this time. I'm not saying I'm sorted in any way at all. And I had to sink very, very low, and for a long, long time. I used heroin on and off for 20 years, which is a fuck of a long time to use a drug like that for. And, I lost everything many, many times. And, I ended up in all sorts of situations. And, like I said, I can't say what it was this time that helped me make a decision to stop using drugs, or helped me make a decision that I couldn't use anymore, that I didn't want to use anymore. I just couldn't do it anymore. Because I'd been in all the detoxes, I've been in the treatment centres, I've been arrested, I even ended up in prison in South Africa on drug smuggling charges. I all got thrown out, I was very lucky. I had my son taken away, all these things, and I still couldn't stop. And then one day I was living in a hostel in Earl's Court, and in this very, very tiny room with a little single bed and a telly at the end of the bed. And I was buying a litre bottle of methadone a week off an ex-boyfriend from the chemist. I meet him outside the chemist, and I buy this litre bottle of methadone. And it stayed under the bed. I'd score once a fortnight when I got my gyro. Once a fortnight I was scoring. It was so fucking miserable. And I was completely alone. Completely alone. And I remember thinking to myself, I've got to do something. I've got to do something. I've either got to kill myself or I've got to do something. And that was it. And that was the moment for me where, I've never really looked back, and it wasn't easy, and I was taking a lot of methadone. I didn't go into anywhere. I asked a friend if they put me up somewhere on the west coast of Ireland where you couldn't get anything apart from whiskey, and I drank a lot of whiskey for a while, and I got sleeping pills and clutched it out, and it wasn't easy, but I'd made this decision inside, and my friend said, is this it? And I was saying, yes, it is, but of course he didn't believe me, but I knew that it was over. I knew it was over, and what a relief. All I can say is what a fucking relief that it was over at that point. I knew it, I just knew it. And I decided to stay in Ireland. It was, it wasn't easy, and I didn't really know anybody. But I was so frightened of coming back to London. I was so terrified, and there weren't many meetings, and but I was alive, and I had this incredible feeling that I was alive, and I survived this unbelievable nightmare. And I'd been in a relationship with somebody for 6 years, and I'd left him to get clean, more or less. It was very complicated, and he wasn't using at the time, but anyway, I left him, and it was a really hard thing to do because I was, I've been with him for a long time, and it was a very difficult decision to make, to leave him, and I did, and then he died when I was just over a year clean. And I didn't use, and that was another decision I had to make, was whether I was going to stay away or not, because a lot of my staying away from London was because I knew that if I was around him I'd go back, and I didn't want to use. So when I don't want to talk about it too much because it's really, really painful, but I did, I moved back to London, and since I've been back, my life, has completely sort of exploded in a way. I came back to London, I had absolutely nothing. I had a few suitcases. I drove back in this tiny little car, and I had to abandon the car because it was, it had Irish plates, and I didn't have any insurance. I didn't have any. I abandoned it up at near my sister's house in Easton, and just left it there. And I had nothing. I had no money. I didn't have a job. I didn't have anywhere to live, and I didn't have a boyfriend anymore. So it was just me on my own. And I went to a hell of a lot of meetings. I went to an awful lot of meetings, and I started developing the friendships that I still got now. And that's been the only thing that I've done that is the only thing that I've done. That's all I've had to do, is go to meetings, get a sponsor, do what I'm told to do, kind of, not all, and build up relationships with people and build up a life. And it's it's amazing that I've got 3 jobs now. I've got 3 jobs now, which is incredible. Before I came back to London, I had this idea in my head of what I wanted to do, and one of them was to get a little bit of part-time work, so I had a little bit of cash, because I was living with my sister. So that was what I did. The other thing I wanted to do was do some voluntary work, and I got a voluntary job in the drop-in where I used to get my needles from. And then the other thing I wanted to do was get a voluntary work in a detox that I've been in a few times. And I've done all those things, and I'm still doing them, which is incredible. I mean, I never stuck at anything. The only thing I ever stuck at was using drugs. And, yeah, it's quite amazing. It's quite amazing. My mouth is very dry. It's all right, thanks. I've got some in my bag. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I didn't expect what I've said to come out when I said it. I really didn't know what I was going to say. And I did a million chairs in my head. When Charlie asked me to do this, I don't know, on Monday. And my instant reaction was no. But of course it's like, yes, of course I want to do this. I really want to do this. And then the chair started in my head. It's been awful. It's been really awful and so nerve-wracking. The other thing I've done, I've just missed out a huge part of my recovery is service. That is I'm a very, very selfish person. And I like pleasure for myself. I like to take things. And the one thing that has saved me, is giving and taking meetings and doing service and doing treasury commitments and going into detoxes and doing chairs. That is what... I don't know how it works. I really don't know how it works, but it does. It really does. And I can't believe that I stayed clean for over 2.5 years. I really can't. I mean, it's the longest I've ever got. And it's from being around these meetings for almost 20 years and only able to get like a year clean, 18 months, and to continually go back again and again and again. I'm not saying I'm sorted at all. And I know it's just for today. And I know that this is something I have to do for the rest of my life. But as long as I keep doing what I'm told to do and keep doing what I've been doing, then, I should be okay. And so that's it. Thank you.